Hello everybody. So, welcome back to Ripley's Corner. I need to disconnect from my nutrition feeding, which I just did, flesh out my J-port, and start to burp before I do meds. So I'm going to teach you how to do that today. Now, if you are with Medicare, you are able to get water through them so that if you have hard water, such as I did, when I went home with my feeding tube, I was unable to use the regular tap water just because of the hard water and the fact that it'll gunk up the tubes and everything so quickly that you can't use it. I used sterile water when I came home from the hospital, and that's all that my stomach has known since. So I go and I have my insurance company pick up the water for me because I'm on a fixed budget, so it's a whole lot easier versus trying to get my stomach adapted to using tap water again. Tap water has so many different products in it that it actually rips up my stomach and gets me very sick, where I end up with feed intolerance issues such as diarrhea, gas, bloating, cramping. It's not a good thing overall. And with doing meds, I've learned through trial and error and different things what works best for me. I have found that putting all my liquid meds into a specimen container that you can order offline, you can get a whole box of them, and you can control the count that you want. I know that we used, I believe it was a 20 count, and that we periodically go back when they get to a certain point, the cups do, and get new ones. All the liquids in one, all of my dry powder in another container, and then warm to hot water. This will help with mixing up the powders so that you can put them into a slurry to add in. I do not tolerate well using the syringe method to administer my meds. What I do is I bolus or gravity it in. Now I use McKesson products because I have found that McKesson works great for me. The syringes come individually wrapped, so you know whether or not you're using a new syringe each time, or if you're, rinsing them out. It's great when you're on the travel, because then that way you don't have to worry about liquids still being in there from washing out beforehand. It also comes with this beautiful little adapter on the end to secure your syringe so that your liquids don't come out. I love McKesson products. Just absolutely love them. I've had such great success with them. So with the adapter, I'm able to put it on my line. Now my nutrition is secure. So let's get going on this. So now I have, like I've stated before, the GJ port. Let me angle it down, sorry. You only want to use about 5 ml of water into your J port if you have the GJ system, just because too much water into the J port means too much water into your colon, and then you're going to have diarrhea mess all over. 5 mLs, I had it at 60, dropped it down, 5 mLs at a time. Now with the button, I love the button because it doesn't get caught up on the clothing and you don't have this big bulge sticking out. Although I did love that bumper when you first came home with your tube, just because it was kind of cute and it helped keep it so it wasn't getting caught up in your shirt. With the J port and the GJ port, so I have my G side here, and with this, if you're not careful, the valve can stick open, so the contents can leak out. So I tend to uncap, and stick my finger over the valve system. You'll feel it suck in, and then you'll feel it eventually release as the pressure equalizes. So with this particular system, this button, there is the line to line. So if you can play connect the dots, you're great. So line to line, there you go. Now because we have that valve covered, the J port won't leak. I let go of the valve and one of them should start leaking right away. Yep, so here comes the G port. So that's why we hurry up and put the stopper back into the J port. And now I'm going to connect over into the G. There is a little hash mark. Let's see if that, and we'll plug it. There's a little hash mark up here. Now this is so that it's a key. We put it in and we were able to turn it just right, so that way we know that it's not going to come out. Mad dash, open up your G port, and it's got the connecting piece down below. So we'll stick it in line to line and give it that turn. Now it will turn, you can go this way, or you can do the cheater way that I was just introduced to a couple months ago, which when you put it in, you have the blowback. You have some pressure, so that way you know that you're okay. So you can choose to swing all the way around and then stop it at that pressure point. That's how you know that you're okay, you're secure. It's not going to come off no matter what you do. Or you can pop it, which is where you snap it the rest of the way through. Now you've broken the seal, so no matter which way you put it in, you can pop it out and pop it in. The downside to that, though, is that you can get it snagged on something and pull out the connector. So suck it in and swirl it around. I don't do, like I said, the syringe method, the plunger. What I do is I do gravity, so keeping that down low enough so that it doesn't kink up here at the ends. As you'll notice that that's the general point where you kink, is at the ends, your weakest point. So here and up here. Give it a little bit of an angle like you would with a baby bottle. And it'll go through. Stomach crunches. You gotta find the right balance. So now I've gone to taking 2 fingers of my thumb. So right here to create a bridge. Let me see if I can get a little bit lower shot. Here we go. To create that bridge. So in that way I can come up and let it go a little bit faster. I'm going to stop it right here because now we're going to burp. It's one of the most freeing and fun things to do. If you liked blowing bubbles in your milk when you were younger, this is what you're going to do. It's making sure that you leave yourself some water in the syringe, so in that way you have room to push up the water or whatever liquid you're using to be able to help get the bubbles out, to get the air out. Let's take in a deep breath and stomach down. I guess I didn't have to burp so much. But now I've got things that are left over, the stomach contents that were left over in my stomach. So we're going to refeed that. You can choose to refeed it or you can choose to dump it. Make sure, though, I will cover that in a different video, make sure that whatever you dump, you need to replace. So if I were to dump out this water, I would have to make sure that I replaced it later on with more water so that I'm not becoming electrolyte imbalanced. So I'm going to give it just a quick little plunge there, break up, and get the rest of what was in there out. That came out from stomach contents. All right. We're good. So now I'm going to lay that down. We're going to go ahead and mix up our dry meds with our warm water. Now, you may find, everyone will go through some form of feed intolerance. The feed intolerance sucks. And how to tell? Nobody told me. There is a class, apparently, that if we're fortunate enough to hear about it, take it. Ask all sorts of questions. Make sure to ask about feed intolerance, dumping syndrome. For those of us that are diabetics, there is a whole different line of nutrition out there. Nobody told me. They just assumed that I would be okay to go ahead and take a standard nutrition, liquid nutrition, and not have to worry about my blood sugars, not have to worry about dumping syndrome. Everyone will go through dumping syndrome when you get your feeding tube installed. The dumping syndrome is just that. You're constantly in the bathroom with feed intolerance. Your heart will flutter, especially if you have the pump. Every time the pump is kicking, you're going to feel the flutter in your heart, and that's exactly what it's going to feel like, is that you're just getting pounded. Okay? You may have the gas, the excess gas buildup and the bloating. Everyone's going to have that too, as your stomach's adjusting to, we were taking in food, now we're taking in nutrition, what's going on. If you're fortunate enough to have both, great. Hopefully it doesn't hurt nearly as bad as far as the feed intolerance goes, though. I still recommend that everyone get some form of an anti-gas, heartburn medication. You want some bloating and you want your heartburn taken care of. Even if you don't have heartburn right now, you're going to switch over from eating and having liquid nutrition to just nutrition at some point. You need to make sure that you have it. Your pumps inside your stomach are going to go, wait a minute, and so therefore you're going to kick up more acid. You're going to start producing acid if you don't already have heartburn issues. Therefore the bloating and the gas and the cramping comes in at. For anyone that has the GJ port, the J port, you're going to know right away, because you'll feel that pressure in your back and you're like, and it's going to hurt because someone's pounding you. Your rate is too fast. You need to drop it down. So now that we have the liquids mixed up, I'm able to go ahead, and what I do, because I'm using Benefiber in with my meds, I'll give this one a quick shake. I need to split it up so that it doesn't clog up my tube one way or the other. So, get to play chemist time. And as we infuse this, you can smell the mint from my gas medicine and heartburn medicine here. So we'll infuse that a little bit in just a few minutes. You need to find out how much free water you can take in a day, or what your nutritionalist wants you to take in a day. You're supposed to have so much of your calories, and you're supposed to have so much of water. Make sure that you're getting it. You're going to lose weight. And for those of you that are way too skinny to begin with, what's going to end up happening is chances are they're going to put you on a higher caloric diet, liquid nutrition, to help you gain some weight. In my case, we're trying to drop some weight as we get my diabetes and all that under control, which it's under control now because of the carb steady nutrition I take. I use the Nestle Diabetes Source, and it works great for me. Carb steady. I don't check my blood sugars, but maybe once every couple of days, unless I feel like I'm having some kind of an issue. If I feel that way, we immediately check to see the interval time from when I fed last to when I need to feed, to see if I might need to infuse something else. And I'll cover that in another video as well. Doing those sit-ups, stomach crunches here. This way, you're not getting the blowback like you would with feed intolerance. You're not herking and jerking, starting and stopping with the syringe and the plunger. This is going in at your body's rate and what it needs and what it's able to tolerate and hold. So we'll go ahead and mix up the last bit of my medication here. Make sure that you're getting enough fiber. Can't stress that out. Get enough fiber. All right. So in a few, I will add 2 more syringes. I've already added 1 syringe of water. Then I'm going to add 2 more. That is what my nutritionalist had me started on, and it's a great thing to go by, especially with the heat in the summer months. You want to make sure that you stay as hydrated as possible. All right. Now say that your nutrition, or not your nutrition, but your medication is stuck. It's not going. So therefore, you can take the plunger. You're going to get, obviously, the resistance. So I take and hold in so that I can get a good grip. Then I'll let go, and you'll see it drop down quickly. See? There you go. So you can try it that way. Otherwise, say that something's going on, it's not working, put your plunger in, find where the blowback pressure is at, okay? Keeping it like that, then you can turn it upside down and go ahead and unconnect, and you still have whatever is left of your medication, and you're not having an issue. Now with the connector, there's two ports. The long one is mainly your food. The short one at the angle is for flushing and for meds. I typically just use the long one all the way around. If I'm happen to be connected and I need to give myself medication while I'm connected, then I'll use the smaller port. There we go. Meds are down. So we'll go ahead here. That is the other thing that you will find having a feeding tube, is that you're going to develop some form of a speech impediment. You will start to slur words because your tongue is not being molded to the roof of your mouth anymore. That is the thing that we take for granted when we chew food, is that it keeps our tongue pliable, so therefore our words aren't nearly as jumbled up. I noticed for myself that my tongue now hangs more to the left. It lays on my left side. Make sure that you stay at a 30-degree position or higher whenever doing your feedings or your meds. Otherwise, you're risking aspiration, which is a majority of the reason why we have the feeding tube. Is for the swallowing issues, for the dysphagia, and for aspiration. Myself, I had aspiration pneumonia and a bacterial pneumonia when I gave up eating. And then finally had my daughter Ripley here put in. All right, there we go. So I hope that this helps out for this video. I will cover pump and gravity feedings in my next video. And I will try to make sure that I am able to burp so that we can get that out. Make sure that you burp. It is very, very critical. Nobody said anything about venting and about getting it out. My doctor, my IR doctor, your doctor that has put in your feeding tube that will change it out every 4 months, told me in passing one day, he said, "Are you venting? You should probably vent. You seem a little bloated." Excuse me? So I had to ask about it. You connect in with your syringe, and again, you just bear down, like you're gonna fart, bear down, and push, and it will, as you saw, it'll come back out, and the bubbles will come out, and you will feel a whole lot better. Whenever you start feeling really gassy, give that a roll. Just try to get on an anti-gas medication and an antacid. It's going to be your best friends. I take mine at 10 mLs 4 times a day, and it works fabulous. All right, now that we've done that, I can go ahead and disconnect. Oops, sorry, dropped my phone. And go ahead and disconnect. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good one.